Kyoto Machiya,
Yeah.
which is like the Kyoto traditional house.
Yes.
Yes. We're recording this intro kind of at the end of our trip. Those of you who have been following us will know that we closed the studio for about 10 days in July to take a break, what we call a creative retreat for ourselves.
Yeah, we try to do that or do variations of that every year so that we can feel refreshed and we can get more ideas for what to do with our studio.
So this year, instead of going to a weaving conference or a trade show, we decided to come to the city of Tokyo here in Japan. Kyoto in Japan. Because Kyoto is actually quite known for its traditional crafts. Many of Japan's traditional craft forms are clustered. I mean, the prefectures all have their own, but I think Kyoto itself has many more. In one city itself, you can find many more crafts, and some of these are crafts that we ourselves actually offer workshops for, like kumihimo, like such go or stitching, mindful stitching. We do offer those in our studio.
Yeah, and it was a decision to come here because we wanted to have a variety of craft experiences ourselves as learners.
And also understand some of these things that we teach, what's the history and the cultural significance of it, so that we also can represent them accurately in the way we conduct our workshops. Kyoto is also very famous for weaving, so there's actually one entire district here in Kyoto that is known for weaving. So it's like the Nishinjin weaving district.
Yeah, there's a particular style of fabric that they make, and we've seen many beautiful fabric samples that are very inspiring for the detail, for the designs. Yeah, it's how much attention they put into the making.
So on this trip, I had a chance to try weaving on a jacquard loom, with a chance to meet a traditional, well, not really a supplier, but as a family, they have been supplying like weaving loom and accessories to the weavers in the district. But it's also unfortunate that we were hearing from him that actually many of these weaving companies or studios have actually shuttered over the last few years.
I mean, modernization, better equipment, faster production also is one of the reasons why while you still have the traditional production houses, more and more if you're looking at scaling, if you're looking at volume, you have kind of inevitable transfer into automation.
As I was weaving the jacquard, the sensei, the owner of that particular weaving studio, so he's the 4th generation, and he actually says that he's the youngest weaver. He's not like particularly young. He's married, probably like our kind of age. And he said actually within the weaving professionals, right, he's actually one of the youngest already. The tradition in itself, the manual version where they really have to be very careful and all have to be woven by hand, is actually not many young people want to go into it already, because it's tedious. It really is tedious, and there is, like he was saying, some of the pieces that he has designed, it's not even woven by hand anymore. It's woven by computerized machinery, simply because of speed. Right? If people are only willing to pay so much for it, you also don't want to spend so many hours.
And cost wise, if you want more people to be able to appreciate a particular type of art, to make it accessible, it's very difficult. If this weaver takes 200 hours from start to finish to create one piece of fabric, how much would that piece of fabric cost? Right? So that if you want to, have a little souvenir for yourself, so that you have a sample of this particular style of weaving, it would not be very affordable if it's purely handmade.
I think there's one piece that he showed us that it took 70 craftsmen to create that one piece, from everything from preparing the design
about 6 months
to the threads, to threading the loom, to actually weaving, to finishing. So I think it was good that we came here to have a chance to experience all this, to understand the challenges that they have, so that we appreciate the crafts form more, and to also figure out like what kind of stories we want to be able to share when we go back into our workshops. So after 10 days here, I would say we are very, very refreshed. Maybe not in terms of sleep, but we definitely are quite refreshed in terms of ideas, in terms of inspiration, to see the Japanese craftsmen and the kind of like
the dedication
passion
they have,
and dedication that they have. And we were also quite fortunate to have met some younger people who are trying to reintroduce some of these craft form.
in a different novel way.
Yeah, in a different way that people can appreciate and understand it to some extent, but don't have to practice it at a craftsmanship level in order to experience it.
And of course, there are people who are experimenting. I mean, it could be the same technique per se, but with new materials available, you find that the process is improved upon to some extent because some things may require materials that's not easily available. Like if you don't live in this district or this prefecture, hey, maybe you cannot get this material because it's not sold anywhere else. But with modern tweaking of
I think
ideas,
it's just innovative thinking
just
and finding alternatives. Like what exactly is this particular craft about, and have you preserved that element of it? And if you have, then do you need to be so detailed in everything else, or so exact in your requirements for everything else? Because then that creates a barrier, and then this craft form will die. So I think it's this whole balance of like bringing together the new and the old, and sort of creating it into enjoyable experience.
Yeah.
And I think Kyoto does a pretty good job because everywhere you go, you do see experiences being offered. They even have a Kyoto artisan concierge that will arrange like learning experiences for you. It is not the most affordable. We found that actually if you do know the craftsman yourself, you can get the experience for a lot more affordable prices. But understand that the people who's doing that translation, doing that coordination also needs to take a fee lah. Yeah. So I think it's really about like what you want to try. Yeah. I think,
and how you want to go about it.
yes, how
You could do a lot of research on your own if you have the time and the ability to
and
do
the
it.
connections.
Yeah.
And maybe you speak the language.
Yeah.
Because a lot of the original, like if you approach the craftsmen themselves, if you don't speak Japanese, actually more often than not, they will not respond to you.
Yeah. Communication is
not because they don't want to respond to you, but because they can't respond to you. There's a language barrier.
yes.
Yeah.
And if they try to use a tool like Google Translate,
it's like weird.
yeah,
like
you lose the
message.
translations, the meaning. Yeah.
I think that's one thing we notice a lot about the Japanese crafts. There's a lot of cultural element that will be lost if you simply use Google Translate. So I think that is the appreciation of where it comes from, and I think much as they want to have more people know about it, they also don't want to dilute that cultural element.
Because there are certain nuances that they do that is not clear to if you were to just follow instructions from book. You don't know why they do it this way versus another way because there are multiple ways to do the same thing, right? And some ways may make more sense than others, but
some ways are just a celebration of what it means to them.
Yeah.
How this craft came about in their country, so they don't want to give up that part of it because it makes that craft different from a similar form that's practiced in another country. So I mean, questions asked would be like, will we be bringing back some of these ideas? Will we be, will there be a chance where we will come again and maybe some of you can tag along? I think these are questions for the future. We don't know yet because remember we mentioned this part about the cultural aspect and the importance of upholding these cultural elements. Like when the Japanese craftsmen do it, they're very particular. So I think in trying to share these experiences with everybody, we need to also give some respect to them, and whether we are the right person to represent that element of it. It's something we need to go and think about a bit more.
As in there are many forms of embroidery, for instance, and there are some that are particularly attached or identified with certain cultures, but there's also just embroidery that you don't really recognize as a particular culture. So
some of these things, how we will bring it back, I think give us some time to think about it. Anyway, that's about all for the chatting. We're just going to introduce a lot of
snippets of
put in a lot of pictures and videos of the different experiences that we've had on this trip. So after this, you'll probably see a whole collage of it, and then we'll come back for to wrap it up. it's a goodbye. So in the meantime, enjoy. Hey, we're back again. We hope you enjoyed the video. Some of the ASMR clips we tried very hard. The temples, the general beauty and calmness of this particular city.
While there are a lot of tourists around, there are still plenty of places that are...
There are pockets of places that are still not as overwhelmed with tourists.
Because they are not the most well-known places, but they're beautiful.
Yeah, but then again, if you come during the cherry blossom season or you come during the autumn leaf season, then it might be a very, very different experience. Because from what we understand from our Japanese instructors, we came in the midst of the Gion festival. We are like right smack in the middle of the Gion festival. This is still
considered allowed for tourism.
It is considered allowed for them. And in fact, my Jikat sensei was quite funny. He asked us whether we actually went to see the Gion festival, and we're like, oh no, we just went the night before and the day before and saw the floats. And he was like, oh, that's a very smart thing to do.
Like locals, if they've gone to the festival because stay away for those few days.
I think unless they're participating, maybe they have a family member who's volunteering as one of the float pooling team, right?
Yeah.
I think they actually are not there lah. I think what was more important for them is to go to the floats while it's being built. Yeah, because that's when they would make offerings, make contribution to the building, so as to bring blessing to their own family. Yeah.
And also they take part in the fringe activities that is part of summer. So this is like a summer celebration for them.
So the whole month of July is actually the Gion Festival month. The parade takes place on 2 particular days. But yeah, so surprisingly it's considered a low season. But I guess maybe it's too hot also lah.
They probably have more local visitors than foreign visitors during this period of time. Yeah.
Perhaps. But anyway, we hope you enjoyed our video, and we're not sure when we'll see you in the next one, but it would happen.
Yeah, it would.
Yes. Alright, see you people.
See ya.
Bye bye.